Okay, so the last part that we are going to do is the types of germination. Now we already know what germination is, like with various experiments we had tried it as in we studied it. So that was water, then suitable temperature, oxygen, and the last one was this 3-bean experiment, which proved that certain conditions are required for the germination process. Now, germination based on how the cotyledons are separating and where do they go after germination. The germination is of two types. So, and that is what is like in a fancy language of biology, it has been explained here. So, the region of axis between point of attachment of cotyledons and the plumule is epicotyle. Like we already know what is epicotyle, what is hypocotyle, these two structures, right? So if you want me to go back to that diagram quickly, yeah, let's say for example, where is, yeah. So here the epicotyle and hypocotyle, these are the parts of the plumule and the radical portion, or you can simply say it is part of the embryo. Now, after the germination process, what usually happens is either of these parts, like if the epicotyle elongates and the cotyledon remains underground, that means they are below the ground. So that is why this type of germination is called as hypogeal. Hypo means below, geo means earth. So below the earth or below the soil, when the cotyledons they are remaining underground, that is called as hypogeal uh, germination. And second type is the epigeal germination. In this, cotyledons will come out, they will be pushed above the ground. Epi means outer, geo means again earth, so above the earth surface or above the soil. That is what is epigeal. So these are the two simpler type of germination. So let me show you these diagrams where it will be more clear. So you can see epigeal type of germination, wherein the cotyledons, you can see them here in kind of brownish color or coffee color. They are coming out of the soil and then they are growing further, and the cotyledons they are above the ground, right? That is why epigeal. Hypogeal, the cotyledons will remain within the soil, that is below the surface of the soil. That's why it is hypogeal. So that is the main difference between these two type of germination. uh, Now if you like look closely into the hypogeal type of germination, which happens in the pea seeds, right? Garden pea plant, or what we call as mutter. In those, this hypogeal type of population, germination occurs. Now, the simplest thing, the process of germination, you have to explain here. How, what, like, let's say if the question is describe or explain the hypogeal type of germination, then you start from a seed. You have the seed in soil. There is a water, of course. So the seed will absorb the water. It will swell considerably, and the testa softens, and it will burst out like ultimately, so that the plumule and radicle they will start growing out. So plumule is the shoot system and the radicle is the root system. They will start growing in the form of seedling, what we call as sprout. And then after this, the plumule will be arched. This will protect the young shoot from the injury, so it does not directly push through the system, like the soil system, I mean. So in this case, what usually happens is, so it's little bit arc. You can see here the leaf is kind of growing here, and then it will lift up slowly so that it becomes like this. So main thing you have to remember in hypogeal is cotyledons are below the ground. The seed germination process remain the same. Like seed is there, it will absorb water, the testa will break open, radicle will grow as root, plumule will go as leaf, and then it will grow further into a new plant, and that germination is hypogeal. Similarly, there is epigeal. Again, you go the same way. For epigeal, seed will absorb water, radicle will grow, shoot will grow, and so on. And then the cotyledons will also come out in, and the example here is bean seed, right? So I don't have to explain again and again same things. I assume the things are clear. Registered? Okay. And another example of hypogeal is the germination of the maize seed. Now in this, because this is monocot, the only difference that will remain is of that cotyledon, like obviously in these cases, the cotyledons, they split into two, right? So that is not the case with the maize seed. Again, it goes the same way. There is nothing different. So you just go over this, you will understand this very simply. And this is hypogeal. So that means whatever cotyledon or scutellum was there with the maize grain, that will remain within the soil, and only the shoot will come out of the soil surface. So that is hypogeal germination in the maize seed. Now, the last, or rather the second last part of this germination topic is this viviparous germination. Now, the word viviparous, it usually refers to producing a new generation in their live forms. Like some animals, or rather some birds, they lay eggs, and some animals, they directly give birth to the new baby, or whatever that new generation is called. So that giving out birth to a young ones is called as viviparous. Now you can simply imagine what would be the viviparous germination. So like I had mentioned in one of the earlier classes of the seeds, that usually the seeds do not germinate in the fruit itself, right? So this is exactly that exception to the general course of the seed germination. So while the fruit is on the plant, it will start germinating and it will start giving out root and shoot system. And then after that, it will dissociate from the main plant and it will start growing at some other place. So that is what is viviparous germination. Examples of Rhizopora and Soneraceae. So you can see in this diagram, the uppermost diagram, where there is this small fruit-like system structure, and that is going to give rise to this root-like thing, which is at the bottom, brown structures. And this is also a representative diagram where you can see the fruit, and this part is radicle, right? Radicle is the root system, and when this will separate whole of this, it will start growing up into a new plant. So you can see the stages of the growth, 1, 2, and 3. So that is nothing but the viviparous germination. What you need to remember again here is what is viviparous and what is germination, and you match these two things together. And the example, Rhizopora and Soneraceae. And yes, this is the last one for sure. So seedling, we all know what seedling is in general, right? When the germination happens, the seed will grow into a seedling, and that will grow into a plant, or you can say plant sapling, and then it grows into a tree, if at all it's a big tree. So seedling is a stage in the growth of a plant from seed before it has come to the wholly independent of the food stored in it. So we know cotyledons, they store the food and they help the embryo to grow up to certain stage. After the leaves are formed in the plant, they will start doing photosynthesis. So there is no need of cotyledon. So until that stage where the plant becomes, or rather the seedling becomes independent of the food stored in the cotyledon, that will be called as seedling. Otherwise, it becomes the plant stage. Like we also have in human stages of growth, like zygote, embryo, fetus, then baby, then teenage and adult, and so on, right? These are stages. Similarly, there are these stages in the plant as well. So after the seedling, obviously the roots would have formed, so they will start absorbing water and mineral, and the leaves, they will start manufacturing the food through the process of photosynthesis. So that's it for this chapter. Anyone has any question? Anyone wants to ask anything? Or just want to get rid of this chapter? Yeah.